So, and you're, as a salon owner, I'm going to let you ask them a couple questions.
Yeah, Mary and I were in Phoenix for a Millennium event, for a Harms Millennium event, and we were there covering it with Behind the Chair, and Robert Cromians, the great Robert Cromians, was giving a business class, speaking at a business class. I had never heard him speak, so I had no idea. Great ideas. So that night we all got together, and it was an owners forum, and all these salon owners, business owners were sitting together, and everyone was kind of, blah, 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 saying stuff that wasn't really, nobody was cutting through it. And Robert kind of took the microphone and said, hey, all you salon owners, how many of you have not paid your rent or your mortgage or your whatever to make payroll this year? And everyone kind of went, and he said, Robert Cromians, didn't pay whatever he didn't pay, I don't remember, to pay my payroll this year, because times are tough, and we need to talk about what we need to do to improve things. And I felt like that was such an amazing thing for him to admit. And so I was talking to Sonia at lunch, and I said, oh, Sonia, the great Doves, the amazing Doves, it must be easy and perfect for you to have a salon. So
well, one thing not to do is don't think two creative people can run a business like a salon, because the first 2 years we almost, it was so difficult. Christopher and I were very excited to open our salon. We had all these great ideas, but boy, when we opened the doors, it was really hard work. So one thing we've learned is, if we can't do it, like for an example, I was explaining, first time I did payroll, it took me nearly 8 hours to do payroll for 5 employees. It was so tedious. It was really hard. So
Sonia had to give me your phone number before, and it took like 15 minutes to
well,
get
you see me with
my
technology.
phone number in her phone. So yeah.
I am not good at technology.
I bet you love Excel, right? The little boxes.
Oh my goodness. I'm just not, you either you are or you aren't. And so we have learned that we needed a manager to run our business. We do call our office the cave, because as Chris calls it, the black hole. Yeah. It's really difficult. It really is. It's all I want to do is do clients every day. That's not the reality when you're running a business. I'm sure you can say a couple of things.
Here we go. Well, everything she said is completely and utterly true. And the scary thing is that she's actually the better of the two of us with technology. So it'd probably taken me 10 hours to do payroll. There's two of us kind of going in there. Well, should we paint the walls? The walls look like they need doing kind of pretty colors and things, and there's payroll to be done there. So to your point with Robert Cromians, I think it takes a lot for someone who presents on stage and is perceived as an icon in the industry, because we're great at doing what we do on stage and love doing, and our passion is here. But when the passion kind of stops here, it's kind of difficult to also be a salon owner. It really is. And I'm saying with my hand on the heart, I think it's the hardest thing that I've experienced in my whole life, is kind of like having a business, having a team of people, and knowing that every single month that rent better be paid, and the payroll better be paid, and your products better be paid, because if not, somewhere down the line, you're getting carted to jail. And imagine that headline, after the BTC show, carted off to jail for not paying the bills, So, I mean, it's always in the back of your mind.
And we never had children, but our staff are our children. One day they're like this, the next day they're like that. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my goodness.
I think if they had been our kids, I would have bought a gun by now and used it, seriously. So, and we love them to death, we really do. But it's like that, it's like every family is kind of dysfunctional, and it's dysfunctional daily. So, I mean, it really does, and it's wearing. And I'm sure they could say the same from us. They'd be like, them as bosses, geez, give me a gun.
Sonia just said it. Sonia just said, I have to say this. It goes from the top down, though. That's what she just said to Chris.
Yeah, she said it goes from the top down.
The dysfunction starts with you.
Well, I'm actually in my presentation tomorrow morning. I hope you come tomorrow morning for it. I'm actually going to talk a lot about that, because it has to be no compromise. Each one of you as salon owners, you took a risk, and that needs to be your culture. And if your team does not abide by that culture, then they need to go. I mean, it really is that simple. And, and for all of you young hairdressers out there, bring for anybody that's brought your hairdressers, bring your team tomorrow because I'm going to beat them up a little bit. So bring them because, there's not going to be a bus that's going to pull up and drop your clients off at the front door. If you're going to be successful in life, no matter what it is, you're going to take responsibility for that success yourself. And you're going to walk into your salon and you're going to leave all of your problems at the door. You're going to walk with a smile on your face and know that you're there to take care of clients. And don't think the road's going to be easy. As one of those said, the road's not going to be easy. But you know what? If you give it the best shot and you work your tush off, guess what? You're going to find success in your life. And that's going to come with hard work. There's no shortcuts to that.
Yeah. Oh, amen.
And God knows you've done that, Mary, because it does start at the top with you. And, I think that employees eventually do fire themselves, Christopher, when they don't believe in the culture. We have 65 people at my salon. And if you think your 5-person payroll is bad, I sleep with the CFO. So it is a tough night sometimes on Friday or Saturday. But needless to say...
Fred, is that why she hired you? Because then she didn't have to pay?
Yeah, see? I was smart. I married my...
He's a lawyer. And
yeah, exactly.
I'm breaking out in a sweat just thinking about that number. I'm not kidding you. I'm up here going, how many?
But, I've always had a saying, and that is successful people will do what unsuccessful people won't do. And so if people in your salon don't follow your culture, to your point, don't let the door hit them or the good Lord split them.
Well, and and obviously my team, the thing is that, your team breeds, you hope that you guide them, you hope that you're not telling them, but you're teaching them. And ultimately, when you have, the distinct pleasure, honor of working with a team like we have it behind the chair, they work so hard and they're so committed. But, I always say to them, and you'll hear it to me tomorrow, is, what, if you're not passionate about what you're doing here, then you shouldn't be there, because for every day that you spend sitting in that chair not being passionate is a day that you can find passion somewhere else, but somebody who would be passionate should be sitting there. So you'll hear me talk about getting rid of that diva, because you know what? She's got to go. She can destroy your business. Why do I keep saying she? He can too.
So following Mary's statement there, if anyone wants to buy a really nice space in Santa Monica, California, come and talk to us, okay?
You, right, John? John's in the market. He works in Santa Monica half the time. No, I'm just kidding.
And just to that point, because I think culture is such an important thing. I mean, Aveda has such an extraordinary culture and an extraordinary training program. You're sitting over here all quiet, but I'm not going to let you get away with that. Tell me how you guys built that.
I think... First of all, I'd like to say, if anybody owns a salon in here, I really admire you, because I couldn't, because I would be arrested for embezzlement because I would just take the profit and spend it on shoes. I can do a lot of things, but manage money is not one of them, because there's always stuff to buy. But I think really... Mary was just talking about us at Aveda, and I think it is really, and I know everybody else that's associated with every brand, you have your own culture. And I think one of the things that from coming to this show last year that I particularly liked was watching everybody else's show and seeing their culture of not just their artists on stage, but the people in the audience and the way that they connected with them. And I think really, whether it's a billion-dollar product company or a salon with 2 people, it's about making your own culture and being true to yourself. And I feel that's what Aveda's done. I've been with them for 14 years, and I absolutely adore them, and I adore what they stand for. And I think everybody has their own culture, but you have to believe in it. And I think, whether it's a salon, whether it's a product company, and it's like, get on the bus or get off the bus, but don't hang off it. It's like, do what you're going to do, believe it, and do it with a good heart, because life is all about the intention of something and how you actually, what you're thinking about when you're doing it. Whether it's good, whether it's bad, as long as you're doing it with the right intention, it's the right thing to do.
And I have to give a shout out to Behind the Chairs culture, because I said to my staff, I've got some staff here with me, how amazing this audience looks. Like the culture that you brought here, Mary, I'm really serious. I mean, you go to some hair shows and you sort of look at them and go, I wouldn't let that hairdresser touch me with a 10-foot pole. But I will say that this is a great-looking group. You owe yourself a round of applause. You're a great-looking group. And I know that culture comes from you know, what y'all have created with color. I mean, it's a wonderful way of stylists teaching stylists. And even though there are manufacturers that I also am a Wella user as well, but at the same time, I learned from you. I have, you know, Angelo this morning. I was so inspired by what he said, and I loved what John did and his group. I told him behind stage, I said, what you did is so wearable, it's so doable, and you know, that ultimately, the biggest complaint I think most people, when they come from a hair show, you get motivation or you get confirmation. You get motivation that you are doing something new, or you get confirmation that you're doing something right. And I love to be able to see things that are wearable and usable and user-friendly behind the chair. And that's what you've created, is consumers that like the type of work and the things that color and the type of people that you bring here.
Well, thank you. I think we're going to leave it at that. Thank all of you so much for being here.